Hi everyone, my name is Iben and welcome to another episode of The Road to Planet Zoo 2, and this week we had 10 animals revealed to us, one of which is the one that is being teased right here. We don't have the actual animal just yet, but I think we all kinda know what this animal is going to be. It is most likely going to be the lion. So next week we might finally see what the new lion will look like in Planet Zoo 2. We've all seen how cartoony it was in the first game, and I think we're all ready to see how it will look in the sequel. And if we go by the teaser image right here, I think it already looks quite good compared to the original one. Like, this one at least seems to have some alpha cards going down its body and down its mane, and that is something that the first game didn't have. So I'm really excited to see what the lion is going to be next week, and I genuinely hope that they're going to introduce it alongside some form of teaser or small trailer specifically for the lion, as it's such an important iconic animal in real life but also in the game. And now that we've gone over this teaser animal, let's just go over the other animals as well that were revealed this week. Starting off with the saltwater crocodile. Now, we already saw this one earlier on and we already had a few screenshots of them, but I do want to highlight it once again because I think it looks so incredible. Just take a look at what it used to look like. The difference is really night and day, especially when you look at all the texture and detail on the head compared to the older crocodile. Now, there's one little nitpick that I have, and that it's in the leg. There seems to be a little bit of texture stretching, but honestly it's a real nitpick because I think this is by far one of the best crocodilians that this game has offered so far. I really like the ones in the previous game near the end, like the alligator and the caiman, but I think this is even a step further and I really like it. Continuing on, we have a butterfly, which is an animal I hadn't really expected. I knew there was an article floating around that confirmed underwater tunnels, but I wasn't really expecting that the fact that they mentioned butterflies in that article also meant that we were going to get butterflies in the sequel. Looking at this model and texture, I think it pretty much looks the same as the old one, and originally they actually even showed us this picture first, only then to swap it to this picture a few days later. And maybe they increased the detail a little bit on the model now that I look at it, but I think it probably is the same, and I wasn't expecting it to be completely different. Honestly, I'm just really surprised that we're going to get butterflies from the start. Probably this implies that we are going to get the walkthrough exhibit again. I hope it's just for the butterflies because I think it works for that, but I genuinely hope that the bats and the flying foxes are going to be aviary animals if we ever get them in Planet Zoo 2. But yeah, really happy about this inclusion. I don't really think that I'm that interested in this particular species, but this opens the door for hopefully the other butterflies to return as well, and I thought there were some interesting animals in that one, so yeah, really looking forward to that. Then we move on to the western chimpanzee, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this is the best footage that we've gotten so far. I think we've seen better footage of this animal in the trailers and in other pictures, but it still looks amazing, and if we compare it to the old chimpanzee, then I think we really have a big improvement compared to that one. There is so much more detail here, both in the texture but also in the model and in the overall fur shader. I really like the way it looks. And then we get a better-ish look at the common hippo. Still not a screenshot that really shows the animal fully and in a good way, but still, it's a better screenshot than we had last week, and I really like it once again. If I compare it again to the older animal, you can really see the difference. Once again, I want to highlight all of the fur work here in this animal. And this is an animal that doesn't have a lot of fur, but you do see the hairs on the snout, and you can already see the hairs in the ears, and that's those little details that the first game didn't have for these animals, and I'm really happy that they did. So I'm honestly really looking forward to seeing things like the Asian elephant, to see how these details have been incorporated in them, because they are a little bit more hairy than the African elephant, especially the calves. So I'm really looking forward to what that will look like. And then we get the tree kangaroo, and honestly, this is another situation in which I think that the Zoopedia picture isn't really doing it justice. I'm even going to say that when I saw it for the first time, I didn't really like it. And I think the biggest issues actually do come from the picture itself. The angle is a little bit weird. The animal is completely in the shade, but it is on a tropical map from the looks of it, with the light being its harshest that it can be, which just kind of takes away all the fur texture detail. You can see a little bit of the fur shader on this model, but because of the lighting and because of the circumstances, you can't see it that well. Now, if we compare it to the real life animal, I do think there are a few things that I would like to see changed. I think some of the colors can be adjusted a little bit to be a little bit less saturated, but I want you to really look at the eyes of this tree kangaroo right here. They are a lot darker. When you switch back to the version in Planet Zoo 2, you can see the colors of the eyes are way too light, and I think if they would change this and make the colors a little bit darker, then I think that will already change a lot more. And if we then get an angle of this animal, just like with a better look at its face that isn't from the side but like more from the front, then perhaps it will look a bit better than it looks right now. I do think it's a lot of like angles and part of the light that doesn't make it look that great, and I really hope that we're going to get to see these animals in action in some kind of video footage soon, because that's my only gripe with the Zoopedia reveals right now. I feel like they only show one picture, and sometimes the picture isn't that great, and then that completely sets your opinion of that animal, even though it probably will look better in other circumstances. So yeah, I genuinely hope this is something they will think about in the future. Because here we have the exact opposite. The red panda looks absolutely gorgeous, the fur is absolutely insane, and the overall look and feel of this picture is perfect. Just compare it to the older red panda for a moment. This one looks completely different, so much more stylized, so much more cartoony, and if you really want to deep dive into this, go watch the video from Just Goron. He really has the best views on these red pandas because he is obsessed by them, so his opinion on it is much more important than mine. I have seen some people who said that it looks like it has a really big forehead, but I think again that's the angle. The animal is looking down and we see a little bit more of the top of its head compared to its actual forehead. So again, I think once we see it in action, it will look a little bit better than we see here right here. But in my opinion, this is the glow up of the century. I love it so much. It is an incredible rendition of this animal. And then we get another exhibit animal, not something that I expected, but it's the crested newt. And frankly, I'm a little bit indifferent when it comes to this animal. I like it, but I don't think I needed it from the start. If we look at the old model and texture in Planet Zoo 1, I think it is the same. Maybe they tweaked it a little bit, maybe they updated the textures a little bit to work with the newer engine, but all in all, to me, it again looks pretty much the same. And when they released the Zoopedia at the start of the week, they even used the picture from Planet Zoo 1. So I don't think there's any major changes here. Not that I think that it needed it to begin with, but yeah, this is a nice animal to have. I'm glad that it's in, because any exhibit animal that we can get is good for me, but it wasn't something that I had like on my wish list that like I have to have this one in the game from the start. So nice addition. Probably won't use it that much at the start, but still happy that it's in. And this brings me to the brown trout, and honestly, this was a surprise for me. I was kinda expecting that the majority, or even all of the fish that we were going to see in the first base game were going to be tropical fish. Like, we knew we were going to get freshwater and saltwater fish, but I was expecting that the freshwater fish would be primarily like African species or South American species. I wasn't really expecting any kind of animal that was found in colder and more temperate climates. So yeah, this is a pleasant surprise for me. If we compare it to the actual in real life animal, I hope this is the right variety. I've seen that there were like 3 possible options, but it looks good to me. I don't know enough about fish to really give an in-depth opinion here, but I think it looks really cool, and I'm honestly really glad to see that we're also getting some cold and temperate climate fish in the base game. That was an unexpected surprise, but I'm really happy with it. And finally, the Napoleon fish, as they call it, the humphead russa, is one of the coolest fish that this game seems to offer to me, because honestly, it looks so incredible. If you compare it to the real life animal, it is spot on. I really hope we'll get to see a variant like this as well. I do believe that we've seen other variants as well in the other footage, but I think it's really, really cool. It's a really beautiful fish, and I hope to see more of these in the future. I really like these big hero fish. I really like the schooling mechanism, but I really like these bigger fish as well. So yeah, really excited for this one. And that's the wrap up for this week. I hope you like this new approach. I worked on it a little bit and I'm really happy with the end results. I'm not going to promise that I will be doing these kinds of wrap-ups every single week. As much as I like doing them, I don't think it's always that interesting to just say, hey, this animal has been revealed. But when there's animals that are a standout for me, then I'm certainly going to do it. And obviously that means that I'm going to do it next week, because the lion is such an anticipated animal in this game. So of course I have to do it. I really hope that we're going to get a lot of footage of this animal and not just one picture. So Frontier, if you're watching this, just add a little trailer, like a little teaser trailer like you did with the gray wolf. That's more than enough for me. So let me know what you think about these animals and this new approach in the comments. I would really like to hear your opinion. Do everything you want to do, like, comment and subscribe, and I see you all again in the next episode of The Road to Planet Zoo 2.